Think about a military operation that's so quick it's over before you could even get a pizza delivered. That's what we're looking at today. We're going to deconstruct the source material behind something called Operation Absolute Resolve, a mission that, according to the article, pulled off the impossible in just a handful of minutes.
15. Just 15 minutes. According to the source we're breaking down, that single number, that's the entire timeline for a massive military takedown. And here's the truly wild part. The source material claims that in those 15 minutes, an entire regime's power structure was just completely dismantled. A claim like that, well, it immediately makes you ask one thing.
How in the world is something like that even possible? Well, the source lays out this really complex, multi-layered strategy that basically depends on doing everything with unbelievable speed. And the very first step, it didn't start on the ground. It started high above the battlefield.
Right, so this operation didn't kick off with boots on the ground. No, it began with this overwhelming show of force from the air. And the source is clear. The goal here wasn't just shock and awe. It was about getting total, undisputed control of the entire area.
The number the article gives is just staggering. 150 aircraft. We're not talking about a couple of jets here. This was a full-on air armada, a perfectly synchronized force with a very specific, multi-part mission. And this wasn't just a bombing run. The source breaks down the key jobs of this air power. First, establish air superiority, basically create a protective bubble for the teams on the ground. Then, they provided live intel, they shielded the insertion teams going in, and they completely paralyzed the enemy, cutting off any way for them to escape or call for backup. This was the critical opening move.
Okay, so with the sky completely locked down, the next phase kicked in, the insertion. And according to the source, this incredibly tricky job fell to the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. You probably know them as the Night Stalkers. These are the pilots who are legendary for flying these super complex missions in total darkness and completely undetected.
And the source lays out this timeline that is it's breathtakingly fast. The clock starts the second the operator's boots touch the ground. Just 4 minutes in, the entire perimeter is locked down. At the 8-minute mark, the main objective is breached and taken. And then, at exactly 15 minutes, they're gone. Everyone is out. The level of precision needed for that, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
So who was at the heart of this ground assault? The unit described as the tip of the spear was Delta Force, one of the U.S. military's absolute top-tier special mission units. Their job was simple, but incredibly hard. Execute the main objective with world-class speed. The source points to this 4-step tactical playbook that made it all possible. Infiltrate, isolate, dominate, and extract. You get in unseen, you cut the target off from any possible help, you overwhelm them with speed and firepower, and then you just vanish before anyone can mount a real response. It's a strategy where speed itself is your best armor.
So, okay, the plan was incredibly audacious, and that timeline was just unforgiving. So what was the result? Did it work? The source material describes the outcome of Operation Absolute Resolve with one very powerful phrase.
Flawless execution. And the source is really specific about what this means. It means meeting every single objective on that razor-thin timeline with 0 friendly losses. 0. Let that sink in for a second. That is the number of American casualties that the source reports. You've got 150 aircraft, elite operators on the ground, a full-scale operation to topple a regime, and 0 friendly losses. It's probably the most powerful statistic in the entire report.
So this absolutely stunning result leads the source to its final big-picture conclusion. It's a conclusion that moves beyond just the tactics of this one mission to make a much broader statement. And that's a direct quote from the source material we're looking at. The author wraps it up by saying that this operation is basically definitive proof of a military capability that is, in their own words, simply unmatched. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. If you set aside this specific mission for a moment, what does an operation built on incredible speed, technology, and elite special forces, as it's all detailed in our source, what does that tell us about where warfare is headed? It really suggests a future where overwhelming precision and just sheer speed might become the most important things on the battlefield. Definitely something to chew on.